$19 cost per book call, 25, 28, 63, 69, sorry, right? So you get that entire LTV up front, right? You win on your end, and then you also appear much different by coming in with that install the system guarantee. Hey, we don't guarantee listing appointments because those are fucking useless. The simpler you keep this, the better it'll work.
Like, how do you reduce the level of shit leads, basically?
Getting rid of autofill forms, landing pages, that's all going to increase the quality of lead. When in reality, nobody gives a shit. The only thing that they care about is, can you help them get to desired results? Thank you for choosing to watch this video, and I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Your support, I'm forever grateful for, and I promise that I will deliver 10x the value that you invest in watching this video for you today. Because what I'm going to be showing you guys is how to go from 10, 20-ish grand a month to 50, 60, 70, and into those real big agency numbers. Because cold email, cold call, cold DMs, like those are phenomenal methods for getting your first clients and even scaling up to 10, 20, 30 grand a month. But in order to really take things to the next level, most of the time, I'm not going to say all the time because there is anomaly cases, and also everything that I share on this channel is just from my own best experience, you're going to need to start, running paid ads. And so I'm going to show you guys exactly how we were able to book over 400 appointments in 30 days using paid ads. And what I'm going to go over for you guys today is what offer you guys should run, how the funnel works, how do you design your funnel, what do you say in your funnel, what do you say in your ads, and what kind of creatives do you create, how do you structure your ads campaigns, how do you set up your ads campaigns, how do you test your ads? I'm going through the document here. When do I cut my ads and turn them off? How do you scale up winning ads? And then lastly, how do you optimize your funnel, and a bunch of book recommendations that have helped me. But I want to be clear about something first. I am only uploading this video to try and make money. Yes, believe it or not, I don't dedicate my entire life to posting value on YouTube for free, right? I'm not that nice of a person, right? I'll tell you what I do here. I post this free value on content on YouTube to help 99% of SMMA owners scale their agency for free, because I know by doing that, I've seen that I attract the top 1% of SMMA owners to come and partner with me. I've partnered with a bunch of SMMA owners in the past. We've documented on our YouTube channel. My selfish, long-term goal is to eventually buy a sports team one day, and my plan is to do it with the fellas that I get to partner with. So that is why I post this content. I just figured I'd let that out there because I know I've been posting a lot of agency content, and some people think, oh, well, he's got a guru course. I'm like, yeah, I am trying to sell you guys something, right? I do want to partner with you guys because I'm trying to make money and buy a sports team. Anyways, with that, hope you guys enjoy this masterclass. Alrighty, boys. So today, gonna spend the next 40, 50, see how long it takes me to get through. Maybe I get through it even quicker. To basically break down, pull it up here, exactly how we were able to book over 400 appointments in 30 days using paid ads. And today, over the next 30 minutes to an hour, I'm going to cover what offer should you run, like how to create, what should we be marketing if we're running paid ads, and also if we're, which also does apply to a lot of cold outreach methods as well. How does the funnel work, more or less from an overall Serge Guattari, mind map style? How do we actually design our funnel? What goes where should we put this button? Where should we put the VSL if we have a VSL? What do we say in our funnel? So this is going to be more copywriting stuff. How to create our ads, the creative, the ad copy, how do we do that? How do we structure our ads campaign? So what are our objectives? What ad sets do we have? What ads, like how that whole thing is set up? How do we actually set up the ads campaign? So I'll go through and I'll kind of do this live with you guys. How do we test our ads? So what ads do we say? How do we test? When do we cut losing ads? And then also, how do we scale and when do we scale winning ads? How do we optimize the funnel? And then I'm going to go over some copywriting book recommendations that if you read those 4 books, I'll talk about them a little bit more in depth, will dramatically increase the results that you get from this. So I'm sure you guys have all seen this before, but these are just some screenshots that we were able to produce. So you can see the sheer volume of appointments here. And this is our ads manager. So hold on, let's see if I can, how do I zoom in? There we go. So you can see like $19 cost per book call, 25, 28, 63, 69, sorry. I guess don't run that ad. $24 cost per book call, just to kind of see what this masterclass was able to produce for myself. So step number 1, what offer should we be running? The first thing, and I talk about this a lot, is if you're going to run paid ads, step number one is to dedicate a minimum, and I mean a minimum of 2+ hours scrolling the Facebook ads library to begin funnel hacking, finding ads that are 2 or more weeks old, and then creating a list of offers your competitors are running. So if I go to the ad library here, and let's say I want to search, we'll go we'll go United States. Let's say I'm in the real estate niche, for example, all ads, and then we'll say real, or maybe we'll do like an offer, right? So, keyword, maybe like 10 listing appointments, hit search. Okay. So this is step one to be doing. So now what we want to do is we don't if we see an ad, like it's December 20th right now, we see an ad that's been running since December 19th, take it with a grain of salt because that ad hasn't been proven yet, right? Like that individual is testing something. Okay. But we scroll down a little bit here to get to, okay, November 14th, right? So this guy leads to listing, or that's a girl. This girl has been running this ad for a bit over a month, right? If she's been running this ad for a bit over a month, there's a good chance that this is a working ad, right? Estate AI, right? Been running this ad for 20 days now, 21 days now, right? It's probably working. Because why would you keep an ad running for that long, spending the budgets that these agencies spend if the ad wasn't working, right? And so step one is to come through this, and I legitimately mean spend 2 hours on this, right? Like this is going to be one of the, we always talk about leverage, like how do we get more done? How do we get more output for less time? This is a insanely high leverage activity, because if we get this right, it's going to save you thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours in the long run as we continuously optimize and test our ads. So spending 2 hours in there, creating a list of offers and ads that your competitors are running. So it's like, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, have a massive Word document that you've constructed. And then once you've done that, you want to begin thinking outside the box to create a unique positioning. So one of the things that, actually they talk about in the book, 48 Laws of Power, which if you guys haven't read that book, that's probably the #1 book that has probably resulted in the most, in the majority. If I had to dedicate the majority of the business growth that I've had, probably be to that book. And one of the things that they talk about is you should be in the crowd, but appear very different. And the story that they have to kind of back this up is there's all these guys, and they're all applying for this Wall Street job. It was like some executive job, and there was 30 guys sitting out there with suits, right? Basically, everybody looked the exact same. They walked into the bank or whatever the job was. They said the interview. Everybody said the same thing. Everybody had the same resume. They've been from the same school, right? Except for one guy. He wore the same suit, but he had a bright yellow briefcase. So everybody had their normal bag. Everybody had their normal, thing. But this guy showed up looking like everybody else with a bright yellow suitcase, right? And what that did is it made him appear different. Right. And in the interviewer's mind, it's like, what was the one guy that, they all said the same shit. They're all from the same school. They all have the same resume. Who was the one guy that they remember? Who was the one guy that stuck out? The guy with the yellow briefcase. And that was the guy that got hired. Right. And so the same thing here. And so what I wanted to share with you guys here is some ideas that you can take right off the bat as to how you can create a unique positioning. So #1 is, we install the system for you, right? This is the one that worked very well for us. We're basically, instead of saying oh, hey, we're going to, run your ads and appear like the 17 other marketing agencies that you've worked with. It's like, okay, hey, we're not a marketing agency. No. We actually used to be a marketing agency owner, right? And that's kind of the angle that you can take. And then I realized XYZ problem. So what I do now is I actually come into, solar businesses, real estate businesses, gyms, whatever the case may be. I build out the systems. I build out the marketing machine. I charge a one-time installation fee, and then, whatever your offer is on the back end, right? And you say, so you do this so you can get the system one time, and then you never have to pay a marketing company ever again, right? And then with that difference in positioning, that's how you can charge 5, 10K, even more up front, because it's like you pay 5K one time, you pay 10K one time, which is going to save you so much in the long run, because what you normally have been doing is been spending 3K a month to have a marketing agency run out, right? And now on our end, it's double win, because it's like most of our LTV regardless isn't going to be over 5, 10K. So if you're charging like a $1,000 a month retainer, whatever that may be, you know, it's unlikely, or it's not impossible, but like the majority of your clients will churn. That's just the nature of the agency space before, you know, month 6, month 7, right? So you get that entire LTV up front, right? You win on your end, and then you also appear much different by coming in with that install the system guarantee, right? Another example here, right? You see here you know, everybody's promising you get X amount of listing appointments, right? 18 to 24 qualified appointments. You know, all you're guaranteeing all these appointments, right? What if we guarantee deals and then just have a simple stipulation in the contract that says you have to close at least 30% of your listing appointments, right? And then you can come across and say, hey, we don't guarantee listing appointments because those are fucking useless. We guarantee that you'll get at least 3 closed deals, right? In your sales process, it's like, well, what percentage of listing appointments do you close? Right? And these big ego realtors, these big ego solar reps, these big ego, whoever your industry is, because everybody is like this, because we're entrepreneurs. Oh, I close 80%. Okay, so if I get you 8 listing appointments, you'll close 8 of them. Yes. Okay, well, bare minimum, you'll close 3, right? And that is, you know, another way that you can simply by changing your words and offering everything else that everybody in the agency space is doing appear different. This isn't one that I've personally done. I was at a mastermind. Some guys were doing it there. You offer a SaaS on the front end, right? Like a, you know, a SaaS on the front end that's like $200 or whatever, but then they like basically get it. And then it's like, they don't know they don't know how to use it. And you basically just upsell them the full-on services on the sales call. And then another one is, you know, pay as you profit. You require very high ad spend and requirements, and then you downsell a one-time, you know, setup fee, etc. installation with that. One of the key things with this, I made this mistake myself, right? And this is if you're going to do this one, you have to have stipulations to make this appear much more beneficial than this, right? Like if it's pay as you profit, you have to spend 5K a month on ads, right? It should be, you have to spend 5K a month of ads and you have to commit to 6 months. So you actually have to commit to 60K, or I can install the system one time for 5, right? So those are 4 different things that you can take with and run, while also, you know, finding the creatives and all that kind of stuff that everybody else is already doing, and then appearing different. These are 4 ways to start. Okay. Next thing here is how the funnel works. Okay. So this is the very high level. It's very simple. Okay. The simpler you keep this, the better it'll work. I can promise you that. If you try and make complex tripwire funnels, like all this shit, right? Like just simple, like keep it very simple, right? And so you have your landing page. From your landing page, there's like a, you know, you have your big offer all up in bold, and then you just flood it with as many testimonials as you can. If you guys don't have, you know, maybe testimonials from your space, like how can you reposition things that you've done in the past, right? So let's say, you know, for example, let's say you've helped a car detailer, right? Let's say you doubled a car detailer's business, right? But now you're working in mortgage, right? Well, you can say, oh, well, we doubled Jimmy's business, right? You can keep it high level, keep it generic, right? Because the more testimonials and stuff that you have on the front, the higher your conversion rate will be. From there should be an opt-in pop-up form, right? They put name, email, phone number. From there, they get the calendar page. The reason why you want to have this separate is because there's going to be, like, naturally, there's going to be a drop-off here, right? But you want to get as many name, email, phone numbers as you can, so you can follow up with them, you can call them, you can continuously nurture them to get you book a call. But realistically, out of the total number of appointments that you book, half of them will book themselves, half of them will fill out this form, not book, you call them up, and then they'll book. Once they've scheduled in a call, then you can send the VSL, the calendar, you know, or then you can send the VSL and set next steps. So that's another thing too. It's like when you come up and when you see, did I delete my screenshot? No, I deleted my screenshot. But you saw the $26, $22 cost per book call. Realistically, we're looking at like a $10 cost per book call net, because that was only including the people that just straight up booked right off the bat, right? Like that doesn't include the people that ended up booking a call or ended up getting called up by our setter and then booking a call. Okay. The next thing is designing the funnel. So I'm going to stop my screen share because I have Go High Level set up on Safari, not Brave. I guess as I'm pulling this up, does anybody have any questions about what I've covered so far?
Yeah.
What's up?
So you want to get as many names, phone numbers, and emails, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you have that in a simple lead form on Facebook instead of on a landing page then?
You can for sure. the funnel is the better way to go long term. If you're struggling
Right.
with marketing in the beginning and you just want to like and you want to crack, like if you're struggling in the beginning, I would switch to lead forms, right?
Okay.
But ideally the funnel, like people that fill out a funnel, like we've all dealt with oh, I didn't even know I filled out the form. Oh, it auto-filled.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't, oh, that's not my phone number. Oh, you know what I mean? Because the problem with Facebook is it's like it auto-fills whatever numbers on their
Yeah.
account, whatever, but like they change their number and all that kind of stuff. So you're gonna get a higher quality lead most of the time. In addition to the fact that you can, have your proper headline, say what you want to say, and have testimonials. So when they are filling out the form, it's like they're filling out the form with more context other than like a random lead form that they're just kind
Yeah.
of seeing on a whim.
True.
Anybody else got questions here? Already.
I was actually going to ask something about the ads, about the
Yeah.
lead quality. Just because I ran ads for my friend's personal training studio in London, and we had a lot of leads coming in, but the quality was terrible. And obviously tried a couple of different things to qualify them a bit better, but it almost seemed like no matter what we did, I would call a bunch of them and they were, I mean, he's in London and
Yeah.
we would have people in Scotland and Wales, like
Yeah.
hundreds of miles away, that are like 70 years old, that weren't in the target audience, that
Yeah.
hadn't even known about the brand. So is there and I've ads about there being like spam bots and stuff?
So yeah. Well, hold on. I don't want to jump to conclusions. What is your question with this?
Question is, what is the, like, how do you reduce the level of shit leads, basically?
So landing page, autofill forms, getting rid of autofill forms, landing pages, that's all going to increase the quality of lead. Now, this is a little bit different. What I'm kind of going over here, this is how to run ads for our own company. This is how to run ads for our own agency. This is a little bit different than service delivery. I'm going to be doing another one of these, like just as in depth as to how we got like loan applications and whatnot on like day one for people that we've been working with. But generally speaking, if you're getting leads, right? Like step one, whenever you're launching a campaign is like, you just want to see if the market works. And, we talk about this a lot, kind of, it's like right in the beginning, you want to turn on the tap to like full power just to get as many leads as you possibly can. Once you are getting leads, people are interested, but the leads aren't quality, then you can stack on restrictions, perhaps making people manually type in their number, perhaps getting rid of the lead form, sending people to a landing page, things like that to increase the quality of leads. So for every lead that you get, the quality is, higher, and overall, there's a better output for, the amount of time being spent nurturing these leads.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like to solve that problem, we just massively need to turn up the friction that is required for somebody to, actually want to do
Yeah.
fill out the form. Breaking into the actual funnel, it's very simple. Okay, now I forget who it was. I wish I could quote it, but I read this report once. It was a report or a YouTube video, and it was like this whole thing. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but I wish I had some of my old websites. Actually, let me take my screenshot off for a second here. I used to be the guy that spent like 2 hours coming up with a logo. I used to be the guy that would spend a week trying to create a website because I thought people cared. Right? My current websites probably took me 20 minutes to make. They're like one-page websites and all that kind of stuff, right? Because we have this inherent thing, and I share this is like, because this was me, at least me, right? I had this inherent belief, which a lot of people do, that I mattered and people actually cared about my website and people actually cared about my company and people actually cared about what I was doing. When in reality, nobody gives a shit. The only thing that they care about is, can you help them get to desired results? It's the only thing they care about you is how you can help them. And so after literally years of fancy websites and all that kind of stuff, I finally succumbed to doing the whole ugly website. And I forget who it was that did a whole report on it. But they basically just compared like ugly websites versus pretty websites. The ugly website, will outperform the pretty website 8 out of 10 times. Okay. And so if you guys are doing this, I highly recommend ugly websites, right? So the structure that I used is a call out here in the beginning. I tried this one because it was something different. It ended up working really well. But, this could be of anything. We'll get into the copy in a bit here. Your headline up here, a subheader there, and then a button. right? Now, I know Julian, he's not on this call because he's currently walking around in Putin, Canada on his whatever plane he flew down there on. But he has a VSL in the ads that he's running right now. If you do have a VSL, you always want to put the VSL, like you'd put in replace of where this testimonial is, right? You want to, I don't know if you guys have ever heard the topic above the fold, but basically above the fold of is like when somebody lands on the page, whether it be, I don't know, I can't set it up there, whether it be on mobile or it be on desktop, it's like the whole headline, the headline, offer, and button, must be visible, right? That is more important than having a VSL visible before they scroll. And so headline there, this kind of design. I personally like to then do another big call out with a design, with a button here, testimonials, another big call up, right? And then you have your footer and whatnot there, right? So big, bold claim, subheadline, button, testimonial or something, right? Another big claim, testimonials, another big claim, right? That is the simple way that, has been working for us. Then the button comes into a pop-up, right? Enter your info below to start the application. Only accepting 9 new mortgage brokers this month. My name is, my phone number is, my email is. I wish he was on this call. I don't think he's on this call. No, he should be on this call because he's running ads too. Matthew Dean really pioneered this, or at least to my mind, he's the one that taught me about this. When you put forms in first person POV, they convert higher. Like instead of asking somebody, what is your name? My name is ... My phone number ... My email is ... And this works for your own leads. This works for your clients' leads, like all that kind of stuff. That's just a mini, there that will, slightly increase your conversions as well. The next page here is the book a call page. Very simple, right? Book a call with us to see if you qualify to insert desired result. Another thing that a lot of people have been liking is it's a little bit of scarcity here. If we have no spots available, this means that we're completely booked out. Obviously, we're not using this calendar anymore. And then again, reposting all your testimonials here. Simple there.
How are you feeling?
Last page here, right? So this is the thank you page. You put the VSL at the end, and then also in the indoctrination sequence, you want to, with the indoctrination sequence, you want to send them the VSL over and over again. Now, I forget if it was last Friday, last Wednesday, but I remember on a call last week, we talked about, getting people to watch and read the VSL. And then also, sorry, I'll just say this just so you guys have this for context before I go into that. This is just basically a little bit of short sales copy about why they should show up to the call. I like to make jokes that, turn your camera on if you need to take 5 minutes before the call to put your makeup on, please do so kindly. Things like that, show a little bit of personality, show a little bit of humor there. Now, one of the things that will dramatically increase like sales conversion rates, et cetera, the more content they consume on you, if you guys are running a VSL, the higher likely they will be to purchase, right? And the problem with that is that most of the time, and like, I don't know if any of you have VSLs or been running VSLs, you probably run into the issue is like nobody gives a shit about your VSL. Nobody watches the VSL. Nobody like cares about the VSL. They just show up to the call having not done any research into your company. They know nothing about you. And then you're trying to close them. And it's like this major uphill battle because they don't even know they don't even know anything about you. Right. And so the counteract to that, and I originally picked this up from the book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And they talk about like the fishing analogy with like the worm on the hook, right? Like if you go fishing and you want the fish to bite the hook, right? You don't put what you want on the hook, you put what the fish wants on the hook, right? And so when you were sending VSLs, right? And so the headline that I had, here's a short YouTube video explaining exactly what we do. I used YouTube because that's like a regular brand name that like people are like, oh, it's just a YouTube video. Oh, I'm happy to watch a YouTube video, right? And not even calling it a VSL or explain what we do. Here's a YouTube video because everybody likes to sit around and watch YouTube videos. And then countering that with to explain exactly what we do, right? The reason, giving them a reason to watch this, then in the indoctrination sequence, in the follow-ups, etc., between the time that they book the call and between the time that they show up to the call is, hey, you should take 5 minutes of this to see exactly what we do so you can make sure this is something you even are possibly interested so you don't waste your time with us, right? And positioning them watching the VSL as something in their benefit, how it will benefit their life by also showing frame and saying like, hey, watch the VSL. If this isn't something that you want, please cancel the call. As in like, we don't need you either, right? And those are two things that you can do to increase the amount of watch time that you get with those VSLs, with the funnel construction. Before I go into the next part here, any questions on that? Yes, no? Alrighty. So I'm gonna pull up two Notion docs here. Next thing is how to, like, what do we actually say in the funnel? So when I get to the end of this masterclass here, I'll start talking about what books and whatnot has changed the help the most, and everything will be sent. You guys will have access to all of this too, so you can copy paste. But at the end of the day, here are some headline formulas you can use as inspiration, right? So grow your client niche through method using vehicle. This is the one that I used for my gym agency. It was grow your gym through new member signups using simple Facebook ads and your own phone sales team, right? Simple Facebook ads, your own phone sales teams was like a new opportunity, something that they haven't ever heard before. How to desired result without pain, even if you disadvantage. Get desired result without pain in time frame. How adjective and niche can achieve that result. How local realtors are adding 5 to 10 listings a year. Warning, warning what every niche needs to know. This is just a quick thing. It's pretty self-explanatory. I won't go too much. I'll just kind of brush over this recently, but you guys will get access to all this after. You guys can use that as headlines. I'm gonna pull up the subheader one as well here. Subheader, where is it? Subheader formulas. So this is kind of like the part that would go in the red, right? Which, examples of this could be through exactly what you do. So through video production for small business, with one-on-one fitness coaching for new moms, with your own personal sales team, benefit 1, benefit 2, benefit 3, build awareness, generate leads, and close deals using social media. The average niche sees desired result. You talk about the average. This is actually Hermosi did this quite a bit, and it worked very well for him. This is the one that I also used when I was in the gym space. So saying what your average client can do, or putting in some social proof, like big 1,000+ lives transformed already, and then you could even direct traffic to read more, check out more of the testimonials and case studies that you have further down on your landing page there. Okay, that is the funnel stuff. Going into next part here. Creatives and ad copy. First of all, this is something that a lot of people don't realize. Before I even get into creatives and ad copy, I want to talk about the order of consumption, because it's important to understand when you are creating ads, right? Because what I see, the majority of what people do is they spend the majority of their effort and time focusing on primary text. But now, here's what I'm going to do. I can pull up my Facebook here. Eradicator. And if you go through ads, right, like anybody, this is a very short, they even put the same thing here because they've realized that people only read that, right? Like when people, let me go through an actual ad that doesn't do it just like that, but like you find an ad, let's find here. Okay. At the end of the day, you see this ad, you look at the creative, and then you read this. Very rarely is somebody going to then come, start reading this, then click see more before they just click here, right? People are more likely to just click here and then try and figure out what it is on the other side, right? Then try and get the more information on the other side. And the reason I share that is because when we are writing our ads, when we are creating that, we need to keep that in mind, that the creative and the headline hold much more power, should be taken much more seriously than what gets said here. If I find another ad, same with here, right? Like you're gonna read this, you're gonna look at this, right? You're gonna click learn more most of the time before you then go and like read all of this. Who is gonna read all of this before just clicking learn more and seeing what it's actually about on the other side here, right? And so with that, creative, right? So step 1 with the creative is to, again, back to Facebook ads library, what we were doing earlier, modeling the ads that are 2+ weeks old, right? I forget what it, I think it was a Tony Robbins quote where he once said, like, it's always easy to tell who the pioneers are because they're lying face down with arrows in their back, right? And so it's like, let these big agencies, like if you're in the real estate niche, let Estate AI burn thousands of dollars on paid ads trying to figure out what works. Come in behind them and just model what's already working, right? Now, going into the next thing here, couple bonus tips. Okay. Intentional error. Let's see if I can pull this up here. So watch this. You guys get a kick out of this.
Loan officers, I'll get you a guaranteed 2 to 3 closed and loaned funds every single month.
Okay. So you hear what I said there? I said like closed and loaned funds. I said something dumb. Or so y'all thought. Because this is what happened. A friend of mine in the agency space reached out to me.
And qualify these leads.
Look at my
and
comments.
Make sure that they actually can afford to work with you before you even have to speak with them. It's kind of like you getting all the low-hanging fruit in your area, which is how we can safely guarantee 1 loan officer per area and qualify these leads.
Those were the comments that I got. I'm an idiot. I'm a retard. I'm a scammer. But what they don't know is that at a $25 cost per book call, they can go fuck themselves. Another one here. As an intentional, I'm going to get roasted. If I pull this one up, right? That's a photo of me looking like I'm 12 years old, sitting exactly where I'm sitting right now. And this ad went to 40, 50, 60-year-old loan officers. Guess what everybody felt the need to tell me in the comment section? I'm 12 years old. I don't know what I'm doing. I look like I'm whatever, right? Just ripping me apart. Again, $20, $30 cost per book call, right? The hate that you get, the hate comments that you get, like all this stuff basically just stirs up controversy. It dramatically lowers your CPMs and you get a massive increase in your overall performance with your ads. So those are 2 things while you're modeling these ads that are 2+ weeks old. Those are 2 things that you can do, which literally you intentionally screw up in the beginning. People are going to rip you apart. People are going to call you out. That's just what people do. And as a result, you can get, much better results and much cheaper cost per leads. Okay. Coming here with the primary text again, modeling ads that are 2+ weeks old, right? Like just copying, it's already going on here, changing it a little bit. I wonder if I could find the copy that I took. Like, I think I could literally find the copy that I took here. Yeah, this guy right here, right? So I was just like, I basically modeled one of the first couple ads that I started running. I basically just modeled what this guy was doing. Right? I was just like, oh, took this, right? I didn't copy it, but I used a very similar structure, very similar format, put it out there, got like a $30 cost per book call on day 1 with when I had like just a photo like that, right? So again, this all circles back to you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to follow what's already working. Moving into the headline, which is one of the most important parts of these. The more direct, the better. So I was making fun of Julian earlier this week. I think it was Monday, because he was struggling, like his CTR was very low. And then I pulled it up and it was like, his headline was like, skyrocket your business. It was something like dumb like that, right? Those headlines do not perform anywhere near as well as when it's just like tangible result, right? That you can see here. Guaranteed, you get listings or you don't pay, right? These ones don't work nearly as well. When you go to like the best ones that we had, the ones that performed the best with us was just like simply 10 loan applications guaranteed. Like just straight up simple, the desired result, 3 deals guaranteed, $100,000 guaranteed. Whatever it is, the more direct you are with the headline, obviously you want to continuously and always be testing. I'm going to get into testing here soon. But the more direct, the better results that I've found. Last thing here, description, don't worry about it. Click here to learn more is all you need. Okay. Any questions about creatives and ad copy before I go into structuring your ads campaign, setting that stuff up, etc. Sweet. Structuring the ad campaign, this is how we did it. Okay. So you have your campaign, set objective leads, or website schedules, whatever that, whatever, however you have it set up. Set 3 to 4 or 5, doesn't matter how many different ad sets that you have. The important thing is in the beginning, I say this in the beginning, you want to have the same ad set. So I've always used interest plus page admins. So, mortgage interest, and like you put every interest that's related to mortgage plus Facebook page admins, right? Like let's say if it's you're in the fitness space, right? All CrossFit, gym owner, like everything related to fitness plus Facebook business page admins, right? Everything related to real estate plus Facebook business page admins, right? That is, out of all you can try broad, you can try email retargeting lists. There's a million ways to make $1 million. This is just what I did to get the results that I got. The next thing here is starting with one completely unique creative per ad set, right? So a lot of people, there's controversy about this. A lot of people will say, oh, let's do one ad set and put 7 different ads in the different creative or in one ad set, right? The problem with that is Facebook will not distribute the ad spend equally, right? So when you're a little bit more established and you have ads that you already know are winning, right? You have 5, 10 ads that you already know winning, then you can throw them all into an ad set and let Facebook optimize for you over time. But when you're just getting started and when you just have to, you're just shooting in the dark, trying to test, trying to, take things from the Facebook ad library, trying to figure out what your first winning ads are going to be. You want to isolate each individual ad so you can accurately look at the data and you have a, like a, I forget what they call it in like science, but it's like a control subject or control matter, whatever you guys probably know what I mean. But basically just by separating one ad per ad set, you spend $10 a day on each one, for example, you can clearly see which ones are performing better than others. Okay. Getting into how to actually set up the ads campaign, I will pull up that here. Anybody has any questions about pulling up the ad or structuring it?
Yeah, right. Let's say I'm in fitness, right? I target everyone in fitness. So do you have to narrow it so it's and Facebook page admins and interest in fitness? Right? You kind of narrow it
So you would stack every fitness thing. We'll use fitness as an example as the one I create right now. Let's do that. As I create one, I'm going to create one as if I was in fitness right now.
Cool.
So you come into Facebook ads as normal, set it up for leads, continue, manual leads creation. I don't even know what all this stuff is. Okay, new leads campaign, you title it, whatever you want to title it. Leave all this stuff as normal in the beginning. Come to next here. Ideally, you're going to want to title this by everything that you end up putting in here. So like website, whatever audience you use, whatever your budget is, etc. Just so you can keep that organized over time. Then if you're doing instant forms, do instant forms. But normally it's going to be website. You set up your pixel. If you don't know how to set up your pixel, just go on YouTube. Dynamic created, leave this off for the beginning. Daily budget, pretty straightforward. Getting into the stuff that's not as straightforward is the audience controls. So first of all, location. So like, let's say we're targeting the US. Then I think show more options. Minimum age. Something off right here.
No, click on under Advantage Plus audience. See like the blue letters. Go down a little bit. Switch to original. Yeah, and then the gray thing. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, this isn't looking normal. Okay, this is looking normal. Okay, back to normal. Detailed targeting, edit, right? Fitness. And like, I would just spend like, just put a shit ton of stuff here. Fucking even gym memes, like just like anything related to fitness in the beginning. Because at the end of the day, you're targeting small business owners because they own a Facebook page. Or I guess we wouldn't want to put that one there. But at the end of the day, you're targeting business page admins that also have an interest in fitness, right? Fitness professional, right? Like you just dump pretty much everything that's kind of related to fitness.
Even health?
What do you mean by that exactly?
Just if you type in health, you see like other things related to, bodybuilding, dieting, all that stuff, health and wealth.
Yeah, for sure. This one's going to be like, this one would definitely take a little bit more optimization than like real estate or mortgage, for example, only because like for me, example, I'm a Facebook business page admin. I have a huge interest in fitness, but I don't own a gym.
No, true. Yeah.
Right. So in the beginning, I would see your ads too. But you get the point. You put a shit ton of, I guess you wouldn't want to do a health employer. But you do a shit ton of everything related to fitness. Then you do ad or narrow audience and must also match. And then you do page, not Facebook page admins, business page admins. Okay. And then so you come up here. I kind of like to add to the title as I go through it or do the title last. Right. So it'd be like fitness plus page admins. We do like 18 plus USA. Right. And you could probably leave it as that for now. Placements, I never do advantage placements, annual placements. Get rid of this one. I do Facebook, Instagram. Typically, I'll just do feeds. Sometimes I'll do feeds and stories. So get rid of all of this. I'll do feeds and stories. And then even within that, I'll get rid of all these. Facebook right column. Naturally, people have banner blindness. So the ads that they see on the side of the screen, they're like naturally like you've just been trained over time to like ignore those ads. So I don't do those ads. Sometimes like depending on my offer, I have done Facebook Marketplace. I've never done it for my own agency. That's more of like a service delivery thing. Like if you're doing like a lawn care type, if you're doing that, you can try Facebook Marketplace. Auto detailing. When I was partnering with Tony, we had some campaigns where we just did Facebook Marketplace ads. But at the end of the day, these four, and then if you have the right format, you can do an Instagram story and the Reels ad as well. Going into the actual leads ad, right? You could just put whatever that is, the name of this ad. I put like a clear, like basically just manually describe like what is going on in the ad, your media, your creative, what we talked about earlier. And then from there, you click publish, right? And then what you would come is you come back to the ad set level, you would duplicate it here, and then you come back to the ad set level and you duplicate it here, and then you just change the ad. So you'd have 3 matching ad sets with 3 different ads. And then one of the things that I do just for organization is at the end of this, right? So at the end of the Facebook or the ad set name here, I'd put one more line here, and then I would do ad name, right? So you could distinguish without having to go in and look at each individual one. Okay. So that is the setup of that. Anybody got any questions on that one?
So I know that there's like an advantage plus targeting option, right? For Facebook to reach with
I tested
people.
that, it didn't fucking work.
No, just turn it off.
You can try it, right?
Okay.
You
Yeah,
can
but
try it. I tested it, it didn't work for me. Next thing here, how do we test the ads? So number one, which is most important, is tracking the data, right? If you don't have the data, you don't have the data, it's driving in the dark with your eyes closed. You might have your foot on the gas, but you have no idea where you're going. You don't know when to turn left, you don't know when to turn right, you don't know what to change because you don't know what's actually going on. So obviously track the data. The good thing about Facebook ads is it does it for you, so you don't need to worry too much about that. Here are the 3 KPIs that'll tell you what's happening, right? So yes, there's a million KPIs you can track. Yes, I obviously all have a lot of KPIs that go into your consideration. That being said, these are the 3 most important ones that are going to have the great, like it's probably 80% of your ad testing and management is looking at these 3 things here. All, link CTR, and form CVR. The second thing here is to understand what the data means. So if your CTR all is below 2%, that is the benchmark, right? If your CTR all is below 2%, that means people are not stopping. People are not stopping, and therefore you have a creative issue, right? If you have a high CTR, people are, oh, what's this? They're clicking, they're checking out your profile, they're clicking on their ad, they're wanting to read more. If people are not stopping, you have a creative issue, right? If linked CTR is below 1.5%, but your CTR is good, right? People are stopping, but then they don't want to click, right? Which means you probably have a bad headline, which means you either a headline / offer, people aren't interested in what they're going to get by clicking. People aren't interested in what's on the other side of this ad. And the last one is if form CVR is below 10%, and this is, you have a good link CTR, but your form CVR is below 10%, most of the time, there's a lack of congruence between the ad and the landing page. So I know a lot of times on these inner circle calls, when people are struggling with ads and they say, ads are good, but we can't get leads, we pull up the ads over and over and over again. The ad talks about one thing and the landing page talks about another thing. And what happens is people are interested in the ad, so they click on it and they go to the landing page and, oh, it's something different. It's not what they were expecting. And so they click off, right? No, if they all completely sucks, is Ian on the call? I don't think Ian's on the call. I don't like to make fun of him behind his back. I like to make fun of him to his face. If you spent $320 on ads and you still haven't generated a lead, it's because your offer sucks. Next thing here is to, based on the data you want to test. So if your CTR all is low, you duplicate or cut, depending on how bad it is, and you try a new creative. If your link CTR is low, you duplicate and try a new headline. If your form CVR is low, you duplicate and try a new landing page. Really what that means is you duplicate and try a new headline in your landing page, because 80% of your landing page is what gets said in the headline. And a quick note here is you want to spend a minimum of $100 before even thinking about making any changes. I've had ads that went from a $80 cost per book call down to a $20 cost per book call just by letting them wait for 3 days, right? When you cut ads, if you spent 2.5x your target KPI with no results, you should probably cut your ads. I learned this from ClickFunnels Media Buyer. So I got the chance to sit down and hang out with ClickFunnels Media Buyer, the guy that runs all the ads for ClickFunnels. That was who originally taught me that kind of metric, right? So let's say you want to get a $10 cost per lead. If you've spent $25 and you haven't gotten a lead yet, you should probably cut the ad. Try something new. The other time you should cut ads is if it is a clear loser in comparison to the other ad sets, right? So if you have one ad, you're getting a $10 cost per book call, and the other ad's getting a $100 cost per book call, just get rid of that $100 cost per book call and dedicate the ads, more ad budget to the one that's already working. Okay. Scaling the winning ads, right? So when you have an ad that is performing, when you have an ad that is at least beating out the rest of your competition, you want to steadily increase the budget of that existing ad. So you don't want to take it from like a $20 daily budget to a $100 daily budget, because that'll reset it into learning phase. But what you would want to do is, maybe add $10, $20 a day to ultimately get it up to the $200, $300, $500 a day ad spend, where you're going to be making a lot of money and you're going to have a shit ton of appointments. But while you're doing this is something that I personally do. I haven't heard of anybody else who talks about this or does this. I like to duplicate and test narrowing of audience based on data. So this is like a huge contributor as to why we were able to get such a low cost per lead. So what that would look like, if I pull up an ads manager here, it's kind of just like a dummy account that I originally started running ads. So let's go, this is like an old, when I was like just starting to run ads here, right? So we'll go to maximum, so we can see here, right? So let's go to website schedules, right? So this is what I would do. So I would look at this one. This one is, these two are two of our high performing ads. So let's go to this one. And then I would come, oh, funny enough, it's that ad. Then I would come to here, I'd go to breakdown, and then I would go to, let's say, age, for example. Okay. Then I can look here and I can see 45 to 54, 45 to 54. Right away, I can see that a large percentage of the 45 to 64 audience, most of the leads have come through this simple age gap, right? So what I would do is I would duplicate this ad and only target to 45 to 64-year-olds, right? Or let's say, for example, we don't do that. Let's say we do placement, right? Facebook Reels, mobile app, Facebook feed, mobile app, right? The standalone winner here. I could consider duplicating this and only doing Facebook feed, mobile app as a placement, right? And that's a way to further increase budget as you scale by optimizing it. How do you optimize? Oh, sorry, what was that?
So I was just going to say, if you have two ads that are running to the same target audience exactly, would they drive the cost up of each other and cannibalize each other, or is it okay to have ads running in parallel?
I personally have not experienced any of that, right? Like, so there's 300 million people in the US, right? Unless we're spending like $10,000 a day or some ridiculous ad spend, I don't see, like, maybe ClickFunnels, it would when you're spending, but if we're spending like $100, $200 a day, I personally never experienced that with my ad.
Smaller fish over here in,
well, even like Canada, right? Like Canada only has 35 million people in all of Canada.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's fine then.
Yeah. Okay, what was the next thing I had here for you guys? We had optimizing the funnel. This is the last thing I got here. So going back to this, optimizing the funnel, very simple. You got to get in order to do this, you got to get the 497 high level plan. Then it'll automatically just have this. You come here, you click create variation, duplicate control page, and then you just wait a long time. There you go. Now you have two different funnels. Both of them are the exact same. You drop traffic to 50% each, right? You click apply. Then what you would do is you would come here, you would just create a different headline, right? 80%, you read these books that I'm going to share with you next, they'll consistently tell you about 80% of your landing page is to do with that. Like once you've completed the headline, 80% of the work that you've done on your landing page is done, right? And so the number one thing that I would consistently test is try new headlines, be constantly testing new headlines. If you are rare, like truly have a winning headline, then you can start to mess around with like subheaders, that call out in the beginning. You'll be changing the color of the button here and things like that. The golden rule though is like, you should no matter how good you are doing, no matter how good you are performing, you should always have a split test going. Even if you have a campaign that's literally just printing money, do this. Do the 80-20, right? Because there's always room to improve, right? And the second you stop split testing is the second you stay stagnant, which, the more, like as soon as you start staying stagnant, you don't actually stay stagnant, you just start the slow decline, right? So always you testing things always be doing that. Even if you are crushing it, set it up so 80% of the traffic is going to the proven already crushing and 20% of the traffic is going to the new campaign. So last thing here, I'll pull up these. I haven't even got these pulled out here. Copywriting secrets. Where is it? Advertising. .com secrets. .com secrets. I'll even throw in a bonus one here. So $100 million offers. I'm sure a lot of you guys have read this before, right? I'm sure this one isn't a surprise to most of you guys. Reading that book will dramatically help your copywriting. Copywriting secrets. This one's more of like a tactical hand guide, right? So you can see there's a lot of stuff in here. Let me find it. There's a lot of like copy paste stuff in here, right? So if you look, I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, but there's like, it's kind of like a Mad Libs where it's just like blank. Like, here's the perfect solution if you want blank that you can just rip from. Cash advertising, again, I recommend ripping through these books as fast as possible. Stockholm Secrets is, if you guys haven't read it, it's a lot about like, you know, how to build the entire funnel and whatnot. Given we are in the agency space, I would personally just copy what I've showed you guys here, because this more talks about like, every industry, every niche, because ClickFunnels is for every industry and every niche. So instead of getting carried away, the thing that I would focus on this is hook, story, offer. So I don't exactly know what chapter it is, but somewhere in there, they have an entire chapter where they talk about hook, story, offer. It's a great copywriting framework that will work very well. And the last one here is Scientific Advertising, which is like an age-old advertising book. Does talk a little bit more copy, but it's more about like the fundamental principles behind advertising, and just a bunch of, you know, rules and laws to follow as you guys are creating your copy and doing all that kind of stuff. So that just about wraps up everything that I had for you guys here.